Welcome to the Same Day Podcast, where we discuss driving incremental business growth and other topics related to real estate, property management, and entrepreneurship. Now to the show at hand.
Yoni Schmidt here, hosting today's episode of the Same Day Podcast, where I connect with top business and real estate leaders. Past guests include Brandon Neff, a local self-managing real estate landlord, Jared Goldfarb, Vice President of Bank First, and Noah Bleicher, Director of Operations at Capital Homes. Today's episode is brought to you by Keyrenter Property Management. At Keyrenter Property Management, we are a full-service property management company helping our clients buy, renovate, and operate real estate assets. We help our clients build wealth while taking the headache out of property management. That's why no matter what rental you have, single-family homes, condos, townhouses, apartments, we have the management solutions you need. Go to KeyrenterPMC.com or email us at info@KeyrenterPMC.com for more information. Today, we are honored to welcome Brad and Megan Skaggs to our podcast. Brad is an inspirational business leader who happens to also be my former boss, whose expertise spans real estate development, property management, and entrepreneurship. His journey in the industry is marked by a decade of dedication to Larson Development, where he played a pivotal role in transforming Tulsa's East End Village apartments into a sought-after residential complex. His passion for reviving historic buildings and his transition to facility solution manager and a serial entrepreneur at Citywide showcase his dynamic approach to real estate and his commitment to excellence. Outside the professional sphere, Brad, alongside his wife, Megan, founded The Beauty of Wealth, a venture dedicated to empowering beauty professionals with the financial literacy and support that they need, demonstrating their diverse interest and desire to positively impact lives. An Oklahoma native, Brad, that is, and Californianite, I'm not sure if that's how you say it, Megan, fitness enthusiasts and loving pet parents. Brad and Megan's multifaceted lives reflect their drive, determination, and ability to inspire those around them. Join us as we delve into the insight and experience of two of the most engaging and coolest figures in the business world, Brad and Megan Skaggs. Welcome to the show, and thank you for being here. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having us on.
We're excited to be.
Well, I guess let's dive, right in, and I'll start with a question for you, Brad. You've had a remarkable journey from working alongside Mark Larson, who we both know at Larson Development, to your current role at Citywide and owner of 4 now apartment buildings in Oklahoma City alongside Megan. You two have went off after some good deals. Can I guess each of you maybe share what inspired you to embark on a career in real estate development and now also property management? As far as I remember, you still manage your own buildings.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, sir. Yeah, so I think growing up, my dad was in real estate, and so seeing him has always piqued my interest. But he actually dealt in maybe some lower income areas. So I knew what type of real estate I didn't want to do. And so I started to, a little bit of nepotism here, I guess. My brother's best friend is, as you mentioned, Mark Larson. And I saw Mark, when I met him, he looked like a, wealthy guy, very smart. He had a bunch of real estate. And I was like, oh, I like that. I think that's an approach that I kind of want to take. So I said, hey, right out of school, I said, would you allow me to come shadow you or work for you? I'll work for free or super cheap. And so he was like, yeah, let's do this. And basically spent almost 12 years under him and helping him with his real estate development empire, and just learned a lot about real estate. And so Megan and I, when we moved to Oklahoma City, we were like, hey, why can't we do this too, start a little side hustle? And so we started to invest on our own as well. So you want to tell the story about the fiveplex?
Sure. Yeah. So when we moved to Oklahoma City, I fell in love with the plaza in the Paseo district. It definitely reminded me of home being back in California. So I knew I kind of saw the potential of the art districts and just really fell in love with the charm and saw the development going in. And I found a fiveplex. It needed a lot of work. it was the back the two units, the back were like on center blocks. The homeless guy was living there, and I brought it to Brad. I was like, we can do this. I see the vision. He's like, hell no. Um, but I was like, no, I swear this is going to be worth it one day. And that's kind of like how we started. I'm like, if we fail, we fail, but at least we tried. So, and it's been going, we still have it today. That was 5 or 6 years ago now.
Yeah, 6 years ago now. So yeah, we bought it for a few $100,000, and then we put a few $100,000 in it, and it's worth double that now, and it's spitting off cash. And so that's just sort of we got the ball rolling that way.
Yeah, love that. And that was all while you were also living in a duplex, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, good memory. Yeah, so one thing that we did as well is we wanted to live as minimalistically as possible. So we bought a duplex, lived in one side, leased out the other, and that basically we lived for mortgage rent free for almost 3 years, which allowed us to save a lot of money and to put into more investments.
Yeah, love that.
We're still able to live rent free, mortgage free, because our duplex pays for itself and the other side pays for our new mortgage.
Wow. That's one of the greatest ways to launch into real estate is just almost like house hacking, but with a higher level of privacy when you buy that duplex, because you don't have to rent out a room or anything like that. Reflecting on your 12 years of loyalty at Larson Development, what are some of the key lessons that you learned about entrepreneurship in the real estate industry? And Megan, I know you weren't at Larson Development, but you still had that entrepreneurial spirit. You've always been working for yourself, and you've been essentially a contractor, and you've launched a business. You've launched multiple businesses. You've went after opportunities. What were those lessons that you've learned throughout your time running your own hairstyling business, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes. What are some learning lessons? There's always ups and downs.
Yeah.
So not to be too hard on yourself, because life is always it's not perfect. And you got to go with the flow. Don't focus on the small things. Just keep going. Just show up for yourself and just being consistent. It doesn't happen overnight. I think a lot of people want to see overnight success, and that's just not a reality. And just being true to yourself and being consistent.
Yeah. Brad, anything on your end with 12 years of experience in the real estate development world?
Yeah. So for me, it was, I come from a small town in Oklahoma, and I wasn't exposed to a lot. So working for a big real estate developer, I moved from Muskogee, Oklahoma, 40,000 people, and moved to Richmond, Virginia. Didn't know one person. And my boss was there maybe a week out of the month. So I was forced to really grow up and live on my own and become social on my own and make friends that weren't in my circle. So there was a lot of hard lessons in that, and it was lonely at times, but it was probably the best experience of my life. It really made me grow up and just see things outside of Oklahoma. So just wanted to start it off with that. It's getting uncomfortable, and I knew I was going to be uncomfortable, but I knew that I wanted that because I wanted to grow. So with that being said, working for a very successful, high-driven, high-octane person like my old boss was also eye-opening. Just seeing how, like Megan said, there's so many ups and downs. I know you experience it in your real estate business and things, Yoni. There's a lot of, it's getting over the humps. It's just being dedicated and staying, if you want to do something, stay at it. It's over time, you will get there. It's not a, quick and easy thing. So that was one thing I really learned, is making sure that you have a goal and a vision for your life and you stick with it. And that was the biggest thing I probably picked up over 12 years, because I saw, the company I worked for went through a lot of ups and downs. I mean, anything you can imagine: construction delays, lawsuits, just units not getting ready on time, just so many different things. And you have to just persevere through all that.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be discomfort when there's growth involved, right? That's part of it. And like Megan said, consistency is key. So you got to keep at it. Love those lessons. Keep at it. And just, know that growth starts at the end of your comfort zone, which is, I guess, a soundbite that people say, often. The overhaul of East End Village Apartments into a high-end industrial modern residential complex is a significant achievement. Can you walk us through the process and challenges of transforming this historic 1920s building? What was your experience like? I think you were like sleeping at the construction site at some point on mattresses or something, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, well, it was, well, first of all, it's when you get into anything that with the building of that age, 1920s, I think it was built in 1918 or something like that. You're obviously going to remodeling and rehabilitating an old building will come with those challenges of just dealing with something that old, right? You have a lot of structural problems, environmental problems. So it's obviously figuring out those hurdles. But then first and foremost, or secondly, is, I guess, once you do get in there and you start renovating, all the surprises that come along with remodeling, right? Not just financial surprises, but just emotional surprises. It's crazy. But I think, and this was one of the key things, that the project was supposed to take 15 to 18 months. Okay. And it ended up taking, I think, 4 years. Okay. Wow. 3 to 4 years. And so that was one of the things that I saw Mark Larson of Larson Development persevere through, because I think, having seen that, like, I think someone that maybe didn't have his drive and determination would have just threw in the keys and quit.
Right.
Because it went so over budget. There were issues with the general contractor, and there were lawsuits, and at no fault to Larson Development, but seeing him and us persevere through that was very, very eye-opening and rewarding. And although it did take a few, it did go over budget by a lot, and it did take another couple years, it was worth seeing what it turned into today. It was totally worth it. And it was just a great experience. And it taught me a lot of things, like, I don't want to get into a lawsuit, number one, because that was a nightmare. Okay.
Right.
You can just imagine that kind of money and that many subcontractors, how tough that is when you deal with that much stuff. So taught me I don't want to get into a lawsuit, and taught me to be very, very specific and transparent with your general contractor, and also the bank as well, just making sure everyone's on the same page. So it was a great experience, and super thankful for it. And I think it turned out to be a great product.
Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, the impact on the community alone, the additional housing and high density mixed use area. And I loved managing it. I was very proud of being the manager there. So I have you to thank for that, because you were the one who, pulled the trigger on hiring me there. So I guess, with both of your passion to revitalizing old buildings, you went after that 5-plex and convinced, I guess, Brad to do it, which, given the fact that you're his wife, might be a little easier. If I was coming to him as a business partner, he probably would have said, Yoni, you're just crazy. Let's go find something, that's a little bit more of a low-hanging fruit. But, with your passion and drive to revitalizing these older buildings, what do you find most rewarding about, bringing that history back to life and for modern use? And Megan, have you been infected by Brad's love for, revitalizing old buildings and bringing them back to life?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, nothing is old in California, so learning about all the history and stuff has been really awesome. And I can have I really appreciate the beauty and all the hard work that goes into it. We do have a lot of cool things like the National in Oklahoma City, and it's just beautiful seeing what they've done and all that stuff, and just the passion behind it versus it keeps the character versus just tearing something down and building a cookie cutter thing. So I think it's really fun. I think it's really fun to give a safe space for people to live in and everything in a community.
Yeah. The housing market is not going anywhere. People will always need roofs over their heads, which is why being in real estate is such a great industry and such a rewarding industry to be in. You mentioned beauty, and I want to segue a little bit into the topic, main topic of today's conversation. Can you share a little bit more about the beauty of wealth? What motivated the two of you to launch this business focused on financial confidence and freedom for beauty professionals specifically?
Take it away, babe.
Of course. So I work in a very large salon. I think there's 35 of us, and they've kind of seen our journey. Yes, we have had a few assets, but we also found ourselves like in a lifestyle creep. Hairstylists make really big money every single day, and Brad was used to getting paid every 2 weeks, and I was bringing home $1,500 a day working. And so we just, with both things combined, we're like, man, we're making good money, and we were just spending good money too. So we kind of found ourselves in a little bit of debt, but the girls, we crawled out of that, put some of our money.
We were in a lot of debt.
Yeah, we were in a lot of debt.
Yeah, like 6 figures of credit card debt, vehicle loans. It was very cumbersome on our shoulders, I guess. Just trying to keep up with the monthly bills of trying to keep up with the Joneses and drive the nice cars and have the nice things and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. With that being said, like we were able to get out of that. We're debt free except for our mortgages, and a big portion of that was able to. I just really hustled behind the chair and made sure that we had a plan for our money. And the girls at my salon saw that. They saw the success we were having, that we were able to buy another 20-unit property. We were able to just have a little bit of, I felt they saw the peace in me when I wasn't so stressed with debt. So they started asking us, Brad specifically, to help with create their LLCs, separate the bank accounts. And they were like, where's our money going? I'm making 6 figures a year, but I don't have anything left to show for it. So people started asking me, hey, I need help. And we decided to do a program and just making sure that stylists are set up for success, not only behind the chair, but in their life in general, making sure that they do have a retirement, they have some investments working for them, their business is set up for success, taxes, giving them their power back, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. So important because so many out there lack that financial literacy, and they don't even know that they may be owed a refund on their taxes. They may not even be filing taxes. So it's truly inspirational, the fact that, you're helping your own community and peers within the industry, gain that financial literacy. Has anyone in the stylist world that you work in bought any real estate yet for investment purposes?
Actually, whenever first we did a kind of like a beta course, and we did it live and launched it live and for over 8 weeks. And one of my good friends, actually, I'm proud to say, did buy a piece of real estate, their first investment home, just a single, but a single family home. And that was awesome. She never really started hearing the word invest until we started talking to her. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's not easy, but if you take away everyone sitting there saying how hard it is, anyone can do it. And I'm also proud to say that she is in the process of opening up her own salon too. So just some really good things.
In Oklahoma City.
Yes. Yeah.
What's her name?
Michaela St. Germain.
Okay, cool. Maybe we'll have her here on the podcast, and she can talk about, how the beauty of wealth helped her achieve her financial freedom. That's amazing. Tell me, I guess, a little bit about loyalty in business relationships. You guys work together a lot, every single day. I guess you're married, you live together, you're working together. Can you share a little bit about how these values, specifically like loyalty and business relationships, have played a role in your career and personal growth?
Yeah, as far as loyalty between us two, is that what you mean?
Between you two, between you and Mark, where you spent 12 years. Megan, you've been at the salon for quite some time now, as far as I recall, and just loyalty in business relationships, right? you rely on contractors every single day, and you need to make sure that, right, they're getting paid so that they pick up the phone when your tenant calls you and says, my hot water heater is out. How can these values play a role, or how have they played a role in your career and personal growth and general success?
Yeah, I think really, truly, it is at the most simplistic level. And I just think about this all the time. Just treat others how you want to be treated. And I really we want to be here for the long haul. We want to be here for 20, 30, 40 years as far as doing business in Oklahoma and Oklahoma City. And so it's easy to get a bad reputation, or if you don't do what you say you're going to do, people figure that out real quick. So we just want to make sure that we always are, whatever we say we're going to do, we do it. And that just creates value and trust. And like Megan said earlier, just showing up every day. People see you every day and they see you trying to do good things. And that's what we're all about. And I was listening to, this was probably, I don't know, 10 years ago. This is always stuck in my head. I listened to, it was a Bill Gates interview, and he was talking about the interviewer asked him why he was so successful, or one of his keys to success. And he said that it's his wife, Melinda, I think now ex-wife, but not the point. They had a great 30-year marriage. So I think he said it was his wife that was able to help him become who he was, their relationship, and how they could lean on each other, and knowing that she was always there, and then vice versa, they were able to build each other up. That's what I wanted in a partner with my wife, Megan. And so, yeah, of course we work together every day, and it's sometimes there's the ups and downs in it, but there's no one else I would rather be doing it with. So I just say, if it's your business partner, your wife, whatever, just make sure that, you are looking for the right person to go to war with, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And have fun along the way a little bit.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love that. Megan, anything to add on that?
Yeah, I think it's just important I feel like sometimes it's so easy to say yes to every opportunity that looks shiny and new and everything, but just staying true to your morals and who you are is so important, because you don't want to get yourself in a situation where it doesn't align and you're stuck and you're like, man, that doesn't feel right. Just listen to your instincts, and the other new opportunities will come, I promise.
Yeah.
And opportunities for you and your business. Be true to yourself and your morals.
Yeah. The shiny objects, they're always out there in our, periphery. And I'm a distracted little ADHD squirrel, just always, seeing a shiny object and trying to gravitate towards it. And then thankfully I have people in my life who say, Yoni, calm down. Stay in your lane here, because this is what we're good at, and, do what you're good at and what but also take some risks and try to grow, but do it in a way that's smart and calculated. Reach out to all the people in your network, and, kind of lean on your mentors when you're doing those kind of things. We all know that entrepreneurship often involves taking significant risks. But aside for the fiveplex that, you guys went after, other buildings too. Can you share a moment where you took a pretty big leap of faith, and how did it pay off?
I'm trying to think which one. So there was a building that we still own. It's in Midtown Oklahoma City. It's in Heritage Hills. It's a 20-unit apartment building, and it was for sure out of our price range. It was something that we couldn't tackle on our own, but we knew we were getting it for a good deal, because the seller had to sell for other reasons. And so this doesn't sound like a big deal, but at the time it was. We had to convince a banker to give us a multi-million-dollar loan, and we had to find someone that would help us take down the down payment to buy it and renovate it. So not only did we have to purchase this 20-unit building, we also had to take out a construction loan and renovate all the units. So all the units were going to be empty for a year.
Yeah.
And so that was very nerve wracking. We had to personally guarantee it. We had to, put our house up, and we had to do some other things to be able to do that. And I'm proud to say today, all the units are renovated. The partner is no longer involved. He's been bought out. And so it was a really, really tough 18 months on us stress wise, but it's definitely paid off today. So we're super excited that we went ahead and went through with that.
Yeah, love that. That must have been definitely anxiety provoking, having to put up the house, go after a big deal like this, and you just have to make it work. There's just no other way, right?
Exactly.
Love that.
Lots of doing
oh yeah, go ahead.
Lots of trying to do hair extensions to keep up.
Help fund it. Yeah, for sure.
Is that where the money is? Because I don't think they'll, the hair are gonna grab onto whatever's left here. But yeah, I mean that's amazing. Yeah, a lot of hard work, sweat, blood, tears that goes into this. I'm sure, I know from experience. So definitely exciting to see this building come to life in Midtown Oklahoma City. And I think I walked that building with you at one point in OKC. So that was exciting. Can't wait to see what you've done with it. So how do you and Megan balance, the professional ambitions with personal interests and commitments, especially, with these shared business ventures, right? You guys like to travel, you guys, have a life outside of this family. Tell me, you're always with each other a lot, I'm guessing. How do you balance these professional ambitions? Megan wants to go buy another building. Brad wants to, let the ones that you already have season a little bit. What's your formula to saying, yes, let's go after this opportunity or that opportunity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it changes every day, every hour. To be honest. We do spend a lot of time together, and a lot of talk is business. I think I try to set pretty boundaries of if we're at dinner, I'm like, okay, we're not talking about work or, trying to have that balance. But right now we're just focusing on the stock market, and just like that's been kind of our goal right now, currently. I don't know.
So just putting money into equities and letting it rip at like 5% and 6%, whatever the return is. And
yeah, we're trying to, all of our effort and things are going into Beauty of Wealth right now, getting that up and going. So that's real estate's sort of like you said, we've done that, and we're letting the buildings just do their thing, right? Pay off and cash flow. So all the money that we are investing is typically in Beauty of Wealth right now. So just there's a lot to getting an online educational platform going. There's a lot of expenses with that. We just got sounds crazy, but we just got our website up and going and all of our funnels. And we did a lot of professional shooting and videos with some of the key hairdressing people in the industry. So there's just a lot of time and effort and money that goes into that. So we just getting all of that set up. So a lot of time and efforts going into Beauty of Wealth, but at the same time, we are trying to put money away into the market and let it grow. So that is working on its own as well.
Mm-hmm. So, for Beauty of Wealth specifically, what's the next step? Is it something that you want to go take nationwide? Is it something that you're keeping local at the moment? Are you're creating this online course, right, for beauty professionals to come online, sign up, take the course, become more financially literate and confident, so that they can start taking that money that they're making every single day. And, money has a tendency to evaporate, especially when you don't have a purpose for it. So, finding a good purpose for that money so that they can actually invest it and help it grow. Is that the pathway forward? Is it franchising? Is it staying in Oklahoma City? Tell me about the plans.
Yeah. So basically, and I'll let you kind of dive. Do you want to take it? Or?
Oh, no,
okay.
You go for it.
So basically I know Megan mentioned how it started, but to our vision and goal for it, we interviewed 60 to 70 stylists before we even made the program.
That I didn't know.
Yeah. So Megan had to cold call 60 to 70 people. And I say cold call, but Instagram message and stuff like that nowadays, right?
And customer discovery, basically.
There you go. Exactly. We wanted to find our ideal client avatar and figure out specifically exactly what they wanted. So we had a list of 20 curated questions. It took about an hour per person. Took us about, 8 weeks to get 60 people on the phone. And we were able to curate a program geared around those specific things that were needed and wanted in the industry. And so once we made that program, we did a beta test program live, as Megan mentioned, and we wanted to get direct feedback, what was good, what was bad, what we should change, what we should do differently. So when we taught it live, able to get that feedback, then we did pre-recorded courses of us teaching it, modules, teaching it. And so now, instead of teaching it live, now it is nationwide. We have students in basically every state now.
Yeah.
So it's all over the country, and they can go in and learn at their own pace. And we are just trying to spread our name and get our name out there. And we're getting a lot of great feedback. We've got amazing testimonials. And so we are just plugging away and trying to get the program to grow.
Yeah, love that. Tell me, what were the things that you found from these questions that were the most important to incorporate into the course? Like maybe like a shameless promo for what people can expect when they sign up.
I'll say mine, and then you can say yours. Okay. I think for the biggest wake up call for me was when Megan approached me to do this. This was Megan's idea. I was like, okay, it's got to be so good, and I want it to be life-changing. So Megan and I started making an outline of what we wanted the course to look like before we did the interviews. And she kept telling me, no, this is not, you're making this too hard. This needs to be very, very simplified. Mm-hmm. And so we did make the course, and then we started doing all the interviews. And I realized after we did the interviews, it was nothing like the course we made. Yeah. So I think to answer your question is speak specifically to simplicity of, it's not about information, it's about transformation. People don't want 100 modules of everything that you know. They want, how do I get from 0 to 100 as quickly as possible, or from A to Z as quickly as possible, and without it consuming my life, making me feel like I have to go back to school. So that was probably my number one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I am very happy that we learned that, because that was difficult, because he was so determined on making sure that the course was like a financial course coming straight out. But I don't know, it's been really just fun seeing people pay off their debt and making sure that their business is set up correctly. We have a CPA on team, so he makes sure that you're using all your tax deductions correctly, growing their...
It's Paul Moen. You know Paul.
No way.
He's part of Beauty of Wealth. Yeah.
I love Paul.
You work for the Beauty of Wealth full time now.
He's not full time.
No.
He's part time.
Got it. Wow. Full circle.
Yeah.
Love Paul. I miss that guy.
I love Paul so much. He's so funny, and the girls love him, of course. What's not to love? But yeah, it's just been really fun seeing them set up their retirement, watching their retirement grow, and just really being confident. And the community that we're growing is amazing. Like, it's so fun. We have a private Facebook group, and there's we have a few girls in Boston. They're doing a meetup now, and I'm like, that's so cool that we started that, and they're growing, and it's really awesome to be a part of.
Yeah. Really just like adding value to people's lives is what it sounds like, through education, financial literacy, financial confidence. And that's incredible. Does Paul actually do the taxes for some of the stylists, or no? Is there anything that you're doing in the future?
No, we're very specific, and we say that we are not giving anyone specific financial advice. Neither is Paul. We do not tell anyone to specifically do anything. We give them the tools they need, the education they need that now them and their family can go make the decision that they need to make based on their circumstance.
Yeah, but underestimating the ability of a good tax accountant is a big mistake if you're in this industry and you're, paid on a 1099 and, you don't know what deductions you are entitled to or not. And, you may be missing out on, thousands of dollars at the end of the year. So super important. One podcast that we recently recorded, Matt Zelk from our office here in Tulsa and the owner and founder of Keyrenter PMC, reported by the Corporate Transparency Act that just came out, and making sure that you're filing your business entity with the Financial Crimes, what is it, Bureau, or it's FinCEN, yeah. Right, because the fine at the end of the day is like $500 a day, right? Something outrageous that if you don't know about this, and you wouldn't have people like you yourself, Brad and Megan, the wealthy, the beauty of wealth, that would be detrimental to you, and it could cause a lot of financial loss.
Real quick, I'm sorry. When we heard about the BOI Act or the FinCEN Act, Megan posted a video on it on Instagram, and it just like took off. It got like 600,000 or 700,000 views. It was, right?
I don't even know.
It was crazy. It took off. And keep in mind, our Instagram is geared specifically just for hairstylists. So it just like went gangbusters. It was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, how many of the hairstylists are plugged into this kind of news, right? And where else will they get it from to know that this is coming down the pike? And if you started an entity, you need to make sure that you're filing this. So that's incredible. I love that. So for each of you, I guess, reflecting on your careers, what are some of the most important lessons about determination and perseverance that you've specifically learned? I'm sure there's a lot.
You can go first.
You go, baby.
I can't think. I feel on the spot. I don't know. I guess always putting your best foot forward, like making sure that you're going to be like the best version of you. For me, it's making sure I'm not lazy for my clients and making sure I do the best hair, and it reflects poorly on me. And I feel like crap if I don't do a good job. So I just always try to do my best.
Yeah.
For me, it's just showing up for myself and for my family every day. I think one thing is, and I mentioned this earlier, is just having a vision and a goal for your life. What do you want? It's kind of a played out analogy, but just like you don't want to be a plane in the air or a pilot in the air and you have no destination in mind and you're just kind of flying around, you're floating around, you're letting life dictate what happens to you instead of having a set destination for yourself. So, I think it's waking up every day with purpose of like, hey, these are my goals and my vision and my promise to myself for my life. That's for sure the number one thing I could ever tell somebody is to make sure that is, because that's where it starts. That's the foundation, right, of everything as far as success goes. Not just financial success, but I think personal success as well. So,
yeah, love that. Speaking of goals and being conscious of the time. So lastly, looking towards the future, what are new goals or projects that you're most excited about in your, continuing journey in real estate, entrepreneurship? It could be a new course or model that you're opening up with the beauty of wealth, another building potentially that you're going after. I don't know that you've bought anything in 2023 or 2024 so far, but it's been a couple of rough years for people who are looking to pick up investment properties, interest rates, and the challenge of the challenges that we're facing in the market. For the two of you, what are those new goals or projects that you're most excited about?
I think for me, I think we want to grow Beauty of Wealth into a community of in the next year or two of a couple thousand stylists. And
Mhm.
so we're really focused and all in on that. And that will help feed other real estate ventures in the future. But we are solely focused on that right now. What about for you, babe?
Yeah, that's my main focus too right now.
Beautiful. And if anyone wants to reach out to you and is a stylist, works in the beauty industry, wants to learn a little bit more about, financial literacy and financial confidence, pay off debt, whatever that looks like, how can they find you?
So we have our Instagram is beautyofwealth_, and we have a website. Our homepage is beautyofwealth at
Dr.
.hair, beautyofwealth.hair. Sorry, we just finished it. So you can book a discovery call with me, and I would love to talk to you.
Love that. We'll put the link in the comments if you're looking to connect with Brad and Megan. Click that link, go to their website, beautyofhealth.hair, and book yourself a discovery call. Brad, Megan, so nice to catch up and record this podcast with you this morning. It's been a second since we've gotten together, and I've seen either of you, but thank you for sharing this time with me, and I truly appreciate it. Very exciting stuff coming down the pike, and I'm excited to see it come out of Oklahoma City. So I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Definitely. Thanks. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Same Day Podcast. Tune in to a new show each week and be sure to subscribe to get future episodes.